Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here, and first of all, I'd like to wish you all a very happy New Year. I wasn't sure I was going to make videos this year, but we're going to start out doing some, see how we get on, and see how the videos do. They're mostly going to be this format, of just hand reviews and looking at graphs and shit. Hopefully, I'm going to do some more videos with some viewers. I know Simon's going to join me again on Wednesday, and hopefully that's going to be like a regular, um, if not weekly, and a couple of times a monthly thing. I've had a couple of people from Sky contact me saying they'd like to look at some hand me. They're happy for it to be recorded, but no one's actually like followed up and set any dates yet. So I'm not mega hopeful because people tend to say, "Oh yeah, I want to do this," and then it just doesn't come off. So we'll see. But I'm going to be playing lots and lots and lots of poker at the start of the year, so I should be able to make enough content myself. There won't be any live play videos. I think they're pretty fucking dull. They're okay if you've got somebody with you to chat to when the boring stuff's happening, but they're mostly just going to be hand reviews and what have you. Um, I do have an ambition this year, and that is to make it into Eastie's booth. I know Eastie sometimes watches my stuff. I think I could be an expert foil for getting the absolute most spite and bile out of him because he'd be losing, like he usually does when he's on his challenge because he's just fucking cursed. And I'd be there interjecting my shitty regfish logic. He'd get really, really cross with me. And that would give me, it would give me great pleasure. So yeah, I'd like to get in the booth with him at some point, but I think it's unlikely because he's got a crew that's all pretty good and serious players, and I'm a fat old nit who, you know, isn't um, just isn't into their way of approaching the game. But you never know; it might happen if I keep schmoozing me enough in chat and in the chat and his Twitch. He might invite me on one day. He might just lose his fucking mind and invite me on. You just never know. Anyway, forget all that. We'll move on to first of all look at last year's results. Well, say last year's. It's actually just from April last year. This is my like results at tracked sites. Um, Nothing exceptionally special. Only 100 and that whatever that is, 190,000, 194,000 hands. Um, yeah, absolutely nothing special at all. Win rate was there, kind of okay. I mean, we're winning, so we can't complain too much. When we add the Sky results, which I've put in basically via bonuses and rate backs. So this blue light, all these little spikes are like that was like April, May, whatever, June, July, or August. I think that was actually September, October, whatever, November, then December towards the end. When we put all that in, we get close to $10,000. Then I think there's like a little bit of profit from Unibet that it was just too hard to track going back through the months. So probably over $10,000 made since April, which for a salty old Nate, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. I know I can do much better. I just need to apply myself much better. And then remember, this is just from April. Before that, I had like 4 months, maybe 3 and a bit months playing on the apps. Don't know how much I made. I was mostly fucking around playing six card PLO and six plus. I definitely made money, but it wasn't a great deal. But I definitely had like over a plus, say, $10,000 there. I think when I worked it all out, I had around about a £10,000 year, roughly, but I couldn't be certain. And that's when I didn't really apply myself very well last year at all. I was all over the place in terms of where I was playing, with my strategy. I was like taking bits and bobs from lots of different places. And I don't think that's a good way to learn. I don't think that's a good way to develop your game. If you're taking bits and pieces from lots of different places, I think you're best just like saying, right, I like this guy. I like this guy's style. I like the way he plays. I like the way he talks about poker. And he's going to be the guy that I'm just going to like try and like model my game on, rather than taking a bit from someone in a Discord, taking a bit from someone on a Twitch stream, taking a bit from someone's YouTube channel, taking a bit from something on Run It Once. You end up just with like a real jumbled mess of a game, which clearly still made money last year, but not. We take this rate back off, and you can see it's nothing special. There's an awful lot of fucking breaking even in there. Like some nice heaters now and again, like where your confidence is up and your run good is up, like here, here, etc. Wonder what that looks like in big blinds because that's in dollar amounts at the minute. Um, Big blinds. Looks a tiny bit better, I guess, but still could do much better. Can do much better. We made what like 7,000 big blinds in 200,000 hands. Is that 3.5 bigs 100? Yeah, it's okay. A lot of people will probably say that's quite good. I just know I can do better because I know how how many mistakes I made last year and just how much room there is for improvement. So if last year when I didn't do very well, in my opinion, compared to what I think I can do, I made 3.5 bigs 100. This year I'm hoping to make, you know, at least 6 bigs 100. I don't know what we started off. The original plan for the year was grind sky. Then my sleep schedule at the minute it's really shit. I'm waking up at like 6, 7 in the morning regularly. There's nothing happening on Sky there very often. So then I was like, right, we'll play a bit of Triple Eight. But then yesterday morning I woke up stupidly. There's nothing happening on Triple Eight. So I just fired like $100 onto Party Poker just to have a look at their like 25 fast forward games, and I've put about 3,000 hands in on there since then. Winning at a reasonable win rate, but my EV win rate is slightly negative. I think it's like 0.61 bigs 100. Don't think the games are especially good, to be honest. Um, I think that's probably just going to be my morning grind for the moment, just to make sure I'm putting the hours in, getting the hands in, staying sharp. And then later in the day, when 25 snap wakes up, that's probably where I'm going to put like more of my hours in. Maybe I'll do like an hour and a half in the morning on Party Poker, just to, like, as I said, contribute to my hours played, contribute to my just staying sharp at the tables, trying to play well, and then Triple Eight in the afternoon, and then maybe Sky in the evenings. Who knows? I don't really know. I set these plans and I never fucking stick to them. But basically, I want to try and play a minimum like 25 to 30 hours per week, and just see where that gets me at the end of the year. I want to try and um, do much better than I did last year. It's definitely possible. And fingers crossed we can do just that. Let's get into looking at the hands that I played just now on Party Poker. These should all be pretty fresh in my mind. There's not too many to look at. I think what is there? There's 7 hands, and then I'll be fucking off. So we have this first hand. We open. I don't barely know any of the players in this pool, by the way. There's some that I'm starting to recognise, but my default assumption is they're just all very, very mostly all regs. Probably nothing special, but at the same time, not terrible. Just bog standard, boring regs, basically. So we get this guy who 3 bets. I think this was a player I've seen quite a lot called Pig. He seems to be someone who plays a lot of tables, puts a lot of volume in, and it just seems like, again, like a really bog standard reg. He 3 bets us, falls back to us, and I make a play here that I think I make a play here I don't normally make. Nah, no, hang on. There's another hand coming up where I do. We just call out a position. I think we should probably just 4-bet here. And he goes back to something that I was talking to, so I'm not going to tell you who it was because, if it's something he's starting to do in his game, um, it's not for me to betray his confidence and just start talking about YouTube. But someone whose game I respect, someone who I've never met but who I like very much. We were chatting the other day, and he was saying how, you know, he's been looking at some content that suggests you can just like 4-bet rip Ace King Pre against people who are 3-betting like reasonable frequencies, etc. That's something that I quite like the thought of. I'm not sure why I didn't do it here because it's something that I've been doing a little bit of, and he also suggested you can do it with kings too, and I quite like it. And there may be something coming up on that later on in the video. But anyways, this time we didn't. We just decided to call. We check. He bets small, which is very standard. We call, which I think is completely standard. Turn is a 10. Check, check. We revert in my opinion, the effective notes. We've got like the King of Spades. My only fear was here that he could have a hand like maybe Ace X of Spades, like Ace 5 Spades, Ace 4 Spades, stuff like that, that would play this line, that would take this line similarly. We check again. He bets. And I think he can just have Ace King a lot here as well. He can, say, occasionally have like the Ace 4, Ace 5 of Spades type holdings. You can maybe just have some King X too, some like King Jack, King 10 suited, that type of thing that's now made a straight. So I decided to check raise all in, just to like, who knows what to do, to maybe inspire some hero calls. I mean, he probably can't call this without a straight, I wouldn't imagine. But people make some weird calls in these games, I wouldn't definitely rule out him being able to call this with a set, for example, if he's with a set of jacks. I wouldn't rule out them calling. I think I imagine they fold most of the time, but I've made some pretty large bets in my time with and got called and looked up by hands that really shouldn't call. But this time he did just fold. But I like it. It was a nice red line win, and I think it's nice to have some checkers in that spot against regulars. You don't want them to just get into the habit of just being able to control pots against you and just like bet big rivers and just stay in charge all the time. So quite enjoyed that one, and we won the pot. And we have King King. This could be the one where, yeah, this is the one where we just decide to go with the rip. It's pretty damn deep against this guy who's cold called, but I mean, I really don't expect him to have a particularly strong range when he's just cold calling out of the small blind versus the three bet. He could have some traps, I guess, with aces, and if he does, then we're just going to get fucked for a massive pot. But again, going back to what I almost said his name then, to what this person was talking about the other week, he's been playing with the solver, and this apparently is just a thing. So I'm more than happy to give it a whirl. We do instantly get looked up, and this is against like the good regular again, the pig character. We run it twice. We spike a set on the second board, and we needed to because this motherfucker had aces. So cheers, you know who you are, for just forcing me to get it all in with kings. But I mean, obviously, whatever anyway. But yeah, we got lucky there. But we'll take it. You've got to get lucky sometimes, haven't you? Here we have the ace queen suited. Someone three bets too small out of the big blind. We make the very easy defend. We flop a pair. They check. We bet five bigs. Guess we could go a little bit bigger maybe, but when people see bet and check this board, they can definitely have some traps still. Wouldn't totally disregard like aces, kings, queens, ace king, ace queen. So they can still have some strong hands in the checking range. We don't want to bet too big and then get raised to a spot. If we get raised here, we probably have an easy continue because we bet quite small. Let's say make it big. But if we bet, say, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 ish, and then they make it 25, 30, it starts getting pretty uncomfortable pretty quickly. Anyway, we just bet the five big blinds. They call. Jack of diamonds on the turn. Don't think it's a particularly good card. They can absolutely have Jack. They can probably have some flush draws too. Didn't feel like it was a card I wanted to continue betting on. So we check through. It was a 7. Our opponent leads for half pot. I considered raising here, but I suspect if he's got a better hand, he just bets bigger on this board. Except with maybe if he was like trapping with aces and kings, maybe he bets them a bit smaller. So I was tempted to raise, but in the end, I just bottled out because I thought, he probably isn't good that likely. King Queen could call, maybe I don't fucking know. Ace Jack with a diamond, with the ace of diamonds, maybe that could call too. But I didn't think I get called enough, so I ended up wimping out and calling. And he had the ace king. Not really sure what he's trying to achieve with that river half pot bet, but I was happy with the outcome. This hand is just where we get to us pre-flop. We've had a raise under the gun. We've had a 3-bet from middle position. Oh, sorry, raise middle position is 5-handed. 3-bet from the cut-off. Cold call button. We have 2 jacks. And I just hated the spot. I really, really did not like the spot in the slightest. You've got in games that are insanely nitty, especially when it comes to like 3-bets and calling 3-bets, etc. We've got 3 people already putting chips in the pot. I mean, Jacks is a best to coin flip versus their combined ranges here, and probably a significant underdog versus their combined ranges. So I didn't give a fuck, and I just folded it. I'm sure what you guys think about that. We just played the hand through. I don't think it went to showdown. So we don't know what anyone had, but I think Jacks there versus a middle position open, cut off 3-bet, button cold call. I think our equity there, especially given we're going to be out of position to all 3, is just complete cheese. Consider set mining, but if this guy reopens a betting, I don't like it. I consider cold 4 betting, but we'd have to fall to a shove, and we're probably going to be folding a bunch of equity. So I just fucked it off. And I was like, whatever, just move on, Reg. It's only a pair of jacks. We want to ace king spades. We open. Flat call from middle position, or cut off, sorry, 5-handed again. Player on the button just makes it 11 bigs. We do the what is now perhaps the painter did all in with ace king, when normally in the past I would maybe have made this, I don't know, like 23 bigs, etc. We just went with the all in, fuck you, all in sizing. We got snapped off. We flop a pair. Happy days. That's not a good river because he might have pocket queens. But he didn't. He just had the ace king of clubs, and we got sucked out. Well, not sucked out one, but it was a grim spot. You know, we'd get it in as a coin flip and lose. Sorry, get it in basically. You know, not as a coin flip. What the fuck was I talking about? With now you know what I fucking mean. We got it in against the same hand and we lost. It's a cunt. Is there any more hands to come yet? This one, Jack tennis. Yo, this one was a fun one. So this guy I've got green tagged. He's not reloading. Doesn't seem that good to me. We have another non-100 100 big blind player on the button. It's just a spot where against some maybe more regulars, I would just think about squeezing a lot more. But we got Jack 10 suited. He plays really well multi-way. It's not nice to be out of position to two players, but I think calling here is probably better than squeezing. So we do call. We flop the absolute world whilst having nothing. This player c-bets. This player calls. This player folds. I mean, we could call here, but if we do improve, then we got to start trying to develop some leads on the turn. If we don't improve, we still have a bunch of equity, and he might barrel the turn, and then we just wouldn't really know what to do. So I took the very easy option and just went with the big raise, hoping to just either take it down now or this guy jams and we just run it. Of course, he did neither. He just fucking flat called, which was absolutely disgusting. And then he folds. Turn is a card. I did not want to barrel this card. I'm like, what the actual fuck now? Because, I expect this player probably has like either aces, kings, or queen X. Maybe he has some like random flush draw that's better than ours, like ace high or king high flush draw. Suspect they probably just rip that in pre-draw rather than call with it and risk missing. So I thought this guy would be like almost never folding, but at the same time, we still have a pretty strong draw. Assuming we're not drawing dead, we still have a pretty strong draw. So I just fucking ripped it in. He snapped me off, and then we got there, or did we? We got there until we made our hand, but is our hand good enough to win? That is the question, and it is. And yeah, nice suck out Reggie. And this is the last hand that we're going to look at. Player is under the gun. We flat out the small blind. We do open ourselves up to being squeezed here, but fuck that. What comes down? King 10-10. We check. Everyone checks through. Turns a 3. We overbet. Could maybe even go slightly bigger there, but player on the button calls. It was a complete break. We overbet again, and he does that. And I didn't enjoy this very much. He just flatted pre, so he doesn't have pocket kings. Maybe he has quads. Who knows? I mean, seems unlikely. Quads is a pretty hard hand to make. He just doesn't have sevens because we 3-bet because we overbet the turn, and he just doesn't call the turn overbet with pocket sevens, or he shouldn't at least. So like, what the fuck is this motherfucker telling me? He doesn't have kings. He doesn't have pocket sevens. I have a set of threes. So I hated it because you get raised on the river, it's always fucking value. He used this size, and like, this is just always value, but we beat some value. That's the problem, I very much doubt he does this with just like a naked king, like king queen or so king jack, something like that. That's probably not what he's doing either. So I just assumed that he maybe just had some 10x that he thought was the nuts, and I couldn't fold. I didn't like it because, I mean, who does? When you get like raised on the river, but we did call, and he had the king 10 off, and I was like, motherfucker, literally probably one of the only value combos we lose to. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can ever fold there, but it's grim because the raise it came in pretty quick, and you just know you're fucked. You've overbet the turn, you've overbet the river, and then you've been raised. You're like, really? I mean, the guy just never has a bluff. He literally never has a bluff. And, like, I had a hard time, like, thinking what value he could have because of the way the hand played out. Like I say, probably couldn't have pocket kings. You can never say never, but he probably couldn't have pocket kings. Probably couldn't have pocket sevens. So like we just have to call, I guess. But yeah, that kind of stunk a little bit. But whatever, it is what it is. It ended up just being a plus $3 session, which was more than a little bit irritating. But never mind. And this is my graph to date this year. This is pretty much all triple eight, and then we've made around, I think around $100. So maybe not all triple eight. Let's have a look. Let's do it in USD. Because I've made around $100 on party, so maybe from like here, it's party. So we're going okay, but we're significantly above EV. Even that's decent. But you can see I'm probably in terms of EV about break even on party, but you do get reasonable rate back on party. I've looked at it. It feels like I'm making about, I don't know, maybe 12 blinds an hour in rate back. So maybe making like 1.2, 1.5 big blinds per 100 in rake back. But because I'm such a fucking nit, I'm only paying about 5 big blinds in rake. So like, the games on party are pretty shit, to be honest with you. They're not good. But it feels like a pretty low rake environment. I'm raking less than 6 bigs 100 because of my style of play. And I'm getting about 1.4, 1.5 of them back maybe. So I'm only really being charged like 3.5 to 4 big blinds per 100 rake on party poker. Whereas on triple eight, I get raked about 8 big blinds 100 and you get almost nothing back in rewards. So like probably in rake alone, I'm making or saving like 4 big blinds 100 playing on party. Whether that's good enough to just say fuck it, just stay in those pools, accept that the games are a bit shit. Who knows? If I can win at 5 bigs 100 in those games, and on top of that, I'm making 1.5 bigs 100 back in rake. So that's like 6.5 bigs 100, and I can get like 1,000 hands an hour 3 tabling. And all of a sudden, that's like what 65% of 25. What's that? 65%. Where's my calculator at? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong fucking thing. Let's see what 65% of 25 and L is for $25. So that gets me like an hourly rate of $16 an hour. And I could grind that for $16. Someone's going to pay me $16 an hour, which is what in sterling? 16.25 USD to GBP. So that's like £12 an hour. I mean, if I could guarantee at the end of the year that I would, be making £12 an hour from grinding fast forward, that would just do it. I'd get my 100 hours a month in, make my 1,200 quid a month tax free. Happy fucking days. Times that by 12, that's 15 grand a year tax free in my ass pocket for someone with my lifestyle. That is more than enough for me to live off. And then on top of that, I have my care money. So I'd probably have, for like where I live, I'd probably have the average income where I live, and I'm making it primarily sitting on my, well, not even sitting, lying down on my sofa. So I mean, we'll see. I'll probably stick at it because I've had like since Boxing Day, I've had like a bit of heat. I won a tournament on Sky for 400 quid. So Sky Cash games have gone really well. So I made like best part of £1,000 since Boxing Day. So that's given me a bit of wiggle room at the start of the year where we can just put some time into these games and just see what happens. I've got maybe 2 or 3 weeks wiggle room where we can just have a thoroughly good look. And if at the end of that my win rate's like 2.5 bigs 100, then it's not really worth doing then. Even with the rate back, it's only 4 bigs 100, and I know me too well. Grinding a game for 2.5 bigs win rate 100, 4 bigs 100 with rate back, that's just not going to hold my attention. I'm going to get fed up. I'm going to start making mistakes, playing badly. Before you know it, I'll be breaking even. So we'll see. But that's the first video of the year all wrapped up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be coming back with Simon hopefully on Wednesday. And we're looking at some of Simon's hands he's played since the last time we chatted. So all that's left now really is to leave you all with my very best wishes for the new year. If you would like to join me on the channel and have some of your hands analysed by one of the most ABC yet profitable nits 47-year-old nits in the game, nearly 48, my birthday in 8 days, then yeah, please do reach out, get in touch via Facebook, via YouTube, via email, via Discord, whenever you can get in touch with me, via Twitter even. Get in touch, because I'd rather make videos where it's me and somebody than just me on my own. But you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, though, some of you guys will get in touch and we can have some fun, and hopefully I can help you with a few pointers. Because let's face it, mostly people who are going to send me hands are going to be players that are worse than me. So hopefully I can help some guys and create some content at the same time. But that's it. I'm definitely fucking off now. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you again hopefully on Wednesday with Simon. Bye for now.